Hello everyone, so today we are finally going to be doing something that's not a card game and definitely not Magic the Gathering. We're going to be taking a look at Total War Troy. I've played this 5 times now. The first 4 times I actually I got trashed, and then the 5th time I was doing well, but it ended up taking a lot longer than it should have. And I ended up not finishing the game. So instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start over and film it for my channel. Now, I want to go ahead and give you a warning. These are all going to be absolutely long episodes because it takes a little bit of time for every single turn. And the battles, which is the main focus points of these games, are definitely going to be slow. But let's go ahead and jump right into it. Now, we're going to go ahead and just do Agamemnon for now. I've done Agamemnon several times. And, I mean, there's not really much more to say about that. So, yeah, Agamemnon, we start out in the city of Mycenae, that's right. And then, I guess we're just attacking Troy. There's a lot of other factions that you can conquer off to the side as well. But basically, this is all of the Greek territories that you have access to attack. Yeah. So we're going to go ahead and get started. So if you're not familiar, this...
of the gods? Or do we plead divine influence?
We're just going to skip this cutscene. So if you're not familiar... Total War Troy takes place during a mixture between the historically accurate version and the fictional version of the Iliad, the War with Troy. And I'm not going to go through the Iliad because I haven't read it, I only know bits and parts of it. I do know Agamemnon, the guy that I'm playing, is kind of a jerk, but he is also pretty straightforward dude to work with. Plus, I love making fun of his name. So basically the backstory is that Helen of Troy was kidnapped. They say that she ran away, but she was kidnapped by the Trojans. And that's what set off a war. So yeah, we're gonna go fight because of a woman who was kidnapped against her will. It's the first time that's ever happened, but guess we'll just make do.
Oh, wide-ruling Agamemnon. There is only one response to Queen Helen's abduction, and that is war.
Brother,
okay, they actually are calling it an abduction.
Your passion has doomed us.
Fear not, noble cousins. I stand with you.
Yeah, you're gonna die though.
This is a grave insult to golden Mycenae. Enlist the other Achaean kings. The folly of Paris may convince them to support the forging of a great Achaean empire.
Troy thinks to slight me, but they will pay the price.
Oh, yes they will.
Your brother Menelaus will be relying on your full support in this great endeavor.
Paris of Troy must pay!
Yep. We're essentially allies
Secure
with the Spartans.
Your power at home before embarking on overseas initiatives.
Yeah.
The warriors of Tiryns wage war on your allies and vassals at Troyzen. They dare to challenge your fame and power.
Yep.
Continue your expansion, while ensuring the Trojans pay for their insult to you and your brother.
Okay, so here is the plan. One, ignore as much of this intro stuff as possible. And two, these guys are our most immediate threat because they're our neighbors, so we're going to want to take them out ASAP. As you can see, they actually have somebody sitting right inside of our territory, which is outlined by this set of green dots and lines and stuff like that. So we're going to kick his ass here in a second. But ultimately our goal is we're going to attack and either take or vassalize Tiryns over here. which will probably take a few turns. Now, I do believe that the correct route to go is to focus as much as we can on economy in the early game. And once you have a healthy economy, you can essentially just raise an army and just go absolutely wallop. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to issue a royal decree for royal granaries so we can increase the amount of food that we make. Food's going to help us get soldiers and stuff later on. Second, I am going to go ahead and hire another general. Actually, I'm not going to do that yet. It's not necessary. So, what I'm going to do now...
King Agamemnon.
Oh, that's right. We need to make some additional economic choices. So, we're going to come over here, and we're going to create something that helps develop bronze, as well as increases the power of our recruits, which is going to help us overall in the long run. We're not going to do any construction in Mycenae yet, and we're just going to go ahead and attack this dude, because he has no business being on my territory. Now, my current army is not all that impressive. It's my general Agamemnon, and then I have some swordsmen, some cugglers, some spearmen. These spearmen actually don't have great attack. For the most part, they're just good for holding lines, but they do that pretty darn well. And they have high armor, and they're shielded, so they can resist large amounts of damage. So the goal is, we're going to try to pin them in one spot with these guys, and then flank them with our light spearmen, our cugglers, and our swordsmen. And then we have our javelineers to do some melee damage. They only have one group of heavy spearsmen, one group of light spearsmen. They have two sets of skirmishers though, and these are going to be our biggest problem, because we need to take them out as soon as possible, and they also have a platoon of swordsmen. We should be able to beat them fairly easily. If nothing else, we outnumber them. But ultimately it all comes down to like flanking tactics. This is definitely going to be the most boring and most frustrating battle of this entire game. Alright. Loading bar is almost here. Not gonna lie, I think this is a really cool game. You can get in depth with the field battles, and that's what I love. Alright, so we're gonna go ahead and start deployment because this is ideal weather for it. It looks like with the battlefield that we have this little cliff here that we can put our skirmishers on. So that's what we're going to do. These guys in particular can advance deploy, so we're going to put them like right here. And what we're going to do is we're going to try to bait our opponents into this open area right here, where we will have them held down by our heavy spearmen. Speaking of which, we're going to get these guys over here. And we will have them hold them in position, then we'll have our flankers come around and finish them off. Agamemnon is going to come over here and work with them as well, and then we're just going to position our light infantry off over here with the intention of having them move into place and do the bulk of the damage as soon as the time comes. So that's our plan for now. We will go ahead and get these guys into position. Position them right about here. While these guys are marching into place, I'm going to get these guys hidden in the trees. Maybe not quite right there. That's a little bit better right there. And like I said, the goal is we're going to try to bait them out into the open. We will rain missiles down on them with our javelineers. And then flank them with our more light mobile units. And as you can see, we have open visual on their swordsmen over here. And most of the rest of their troops are most likely hiding in these trees. But you can't see them because they have the whole hidden thing going on for them. With any luck, we will tempt them out into the open, or at the very least drag them out into the open fairly easily. Okay, so all of our troops are in place. The slingers are coming out. Or at least the slingers were visible a second ago. Try to reposition these guys a little bit. Okay, they're not attacking. That's not good. Let's try moving them a little bit closer so we can at the very least get a visual on them. If we can't get a visual on the guys in the trees, we can probably just send our flankers in to finish them off, or to start taking them out. Okay, there we go. So we're going to send our spearmen, who are our lightest, to go right after the skirmishers. Okay, yeah. So we're going to have to change our plan a little bit. We're going to have to draw them out. So while our spearmen are chasing after the slingers, we're going to go ahead and have our heavy spearmen, or heavier spearmen, I should say.
The foe has sighted your hidden units.
Yep. Okay, we got some javelineers as well. Our opponent has some javelineers, I mean. Okay. So the slingers are fleeing, and it looks like the swordsmen are coming to try heading off our spearmen. So we'll go ahead and have these guys come in and attack them. We're gonna go ahead and use these guys to come around and flank them. So we'll just move them into a position behind the spearmen and then attack them. That way they're getting completely pincered and should be a lot easier to defeat. Alright, so we're still taking quite a bit of damage, but we've largely demoralized the spearmen, which means they may flee soon. And then after that, we can go after the second group of spearmen. Okay. This isn't going the way I wanted it to. So we're going to bring our swordsman over just a little bit, with the intention of hopefully just flanking their swordsman, which it looks like we were successful in doing. Okay, so we have these guys fleeing, but they're not in a surrender point. Regardless, we want to focus on doing as much damage as we can to the rest of their units. So we're going to go ahead and attack these spearmen again. Have them come around and then attack them one more time. I don't know where Agamemnon is. Oh, Agamemnon's still chasing him. I'll have Agamemnon attack these guys. They will most likely flee. I'm going to keep my javelineers up here because I have still the intention of just more or less retreating over into this position, and with any luck, they will follow. As a matter of fact, let's do a little bit more damage to these swordsmen, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm just going to have them come over where I can get missiles down on them. Alright, go. Alright, just as I expected, they're pursuing. These guys who have fled earlier are taking chase as well. The only thing that really bothers me right now is these skirmishers. We haven't done a whole lot of damage to them, and they can be absolutely detrimental to your game plan. Okay, disengage. Do not fight them. I'm gonna lose that entire platoon. Get over here. Stop fighting them. I did not tell you to fight them. Okay, these swordsmen are losing morale for some reason. Okay, once again, this did not go the way I was expecting it. But we can at the very least take advantage of the situation and handle it this way. Alright, I'm going to send the swordsman at the spearmen, the cugglers at those guys, and I'll have these guys waiting in the rear for reinforcement purposes. And I'm going to have my leader fight this leader. No, no. Flanks broke. Alright, back, go back, go back. Everyone just go back.
Your hero is under attack.
Yeah, that's gonna happen.
I will enjoy this.
Oh, goodness. Look at these two just squaring off in the middle of it. They're just kind of circling them and just watching them fight. It's kind of funny.
By Ares, your warriors are rallying.
Yep, that'll happen. Okay. So I have these spearmen come over here and attack these spearmen. We can still pull this off, I reckon, because we've done quite a bit of damage. Okay, we have a surrender out of these guys. That's a good sign. I mean, these guys are going to leave the battlefield unconditionally, and we will not have to deal with them anymore. Okay, we gotta flee out of these guys, and we gotta flee out of their general, but we have the general surrounded, so we might be able to...
Victory is close enough to taste.
Alright, looks like we are on the upper hand now. So at this point, now we just kind of more or less take our troops and attack relentlessly as much as we can. Okay, we have a surrender out of him, so we can go ahead and... Okay, everyone's surrendered. Alright, fantastic. That didn't go the way I wanted it to, but we did end up doing a significant amount of damage, and ultimately we won, which was the goal. We lost 173 people. Or no, our opponent lost 173 people. So, actually, this ended up going pretty badly, especially for our first battle. But we will go ahead and replenish our units, and most likely we're going to have to fight these guys again relatively soon.
Progression.
Alright, so with that done, we're going to take Agamemnon back to Mycenae, or Mycenae, I guess is what you would call it. And then we're going to go ahead and get him some more troops. He needs more long-range people in his units, so we're going to go ahead and hire some. And then I'm going to go with another group of shielders, especially since I think these two are going to have to fuse. Yeah.
Lord of the Achaeans.
And then most likely we're going to be spending the next couple of turns building up our army as much as we can from there. So that concludes it for this turn. There's not really anything else to do. Oh, we got to give Agamemnon his skill points. We'll do March of Hermes, so that way we can occasionally get our troops moving a lot faster. Little rush across the battlefield thing going on. And now we pass it. Speed it up. Yeah, the unfortunate thing about this game is you have to wait for all of the turns to pass before you can do anything else. Alright, the Tiryns have done absolutely nothing yet, so no worries there, I guess. Um, we're gonna go ahead and upgrade our armory, and hopefully soonish we can go ahead and upgrade our archery range as well. Ultimately, because I don't want to get a ton of new soldiers in my army until after we can get the good stuff, I don't think I'm going to continue recruiting at the moment. At least not a lot. I will go ahead and put down some Javelineers.
We are set.
But that's it. And then, yeah, we will go ahead. Well, let's take a look and see what construction's available. Tiryns, we can upgrade this. Which will help with our bronze production. That's going to be super relevant, however, relatively soon. Okay, so we're just going to go ahead and pass. Wait for all these turns to go through. Okay, now we have an objective to construct a building. We have 1,000. We have a vassal right now, Troysian, whatever it is. So we'll go ahead and steal some wood from them.
Or regret it.
Which is something I try to avoid doing because it can decrease how happy they are with you. But ultimately, if we need to construct stuff, we've got to construct stuff. Not worried about that. That's already under construction. Let's see here. We're going to do mud brick houses just because it increases growth, and growth basically multiplies the overall production of all of your facilities. So we're going to go ahead and get that ball rolling. We haven't moved Agamemnon, and I don't intend to just yet. I don't think there's any point in trying to build anything at the moment, so we will go ahead and pass, because I want to save my resources. Because I need to simultaneously get myself ready to build up a large army, so we can attack the Tiryns. As well as upgrading the main building of any settlement. Yeah, we'll worry about that later. Takes a while for my Snea to get upgraded. Okay, one more turn until both of these are available, and we'll go ahead and get started on advanced archery, because the sooner we have better archers, the better. And then once again, I guess we'll go ahead and pass, because we can save up food in order to develop a much better army. The only other thing I could think to do is see if we can't get some divine favor from Aphrodite. Yep, there we go. So we will do a prayer to Aphrodite and a hecatomb to Aphrodite, which will give us more favor from her and help us develop our economy. From here, double check. Tiryns, is there anything else we can do? Is there anything we can construct? What I want to do is I want to construct something that's super relevant. This would really help, actually. A craftsman hut. So we'll go ahead and develop that. And then we'll pass the turn, and next turn we can go ahead and start doing a lot more interesting stuff. Hopefully. Alright, cool. So we have the favor of Aphrodite, we have 4,000 food, and we should have full economic development at this point. Have additional economic development at this point. And as you can see, we also have new types of soldiers available, particularly shielded clubmen and shielded spearmen, which are Kind of like these guys, except way more useful, because they actually have good attack. They are medium weight class. They're pretty helpful. They're not bad. So what we're gonna do is, yeah, we're gonna hire a couple of them. So we're gonna go ahead and get
An acceptable course.
2 of these guys, and then we're gonna go ahead and get 1 additional group of, let's see, we'll get some cugglers. Alright. And then after that, we need to increase the amount of bronze that we're getting every single turn, but that's going to take a while to do because we have to wait until our bronze production facilities have caught up. And then we will go ahead and upgrade our huts because we really need it. And with any luck, we can get a population surplus pretty quick and really advance Mycenae. And that will really help us in the long game. But for now,
Shepherd of the people.
we need to focus on building an army so we can attack the Tiryns. I want to try to get 15 separate units, which is a lot, but especially if we can get some heavier units, it'll really pay off. Alright, cool. So we have a total of 12 units.
The Lion of Mycenae.
Line of Mycenae, he says. That's what you want to call it. Okay, so I think we're gonna need one more group of heavy spearsmen, one more set of these. Well, no, let's not get the weaker archers at the moment because we can get some stronger ones next turn if I remember right. So we'll go ahead and get some more javelineers. And you know what, we'll go ahead and get some heavy clubmen too. Now, at this point, we need to concern ourselves with our overall upkeep, which means we need to start making diplomatic relations with certain people. We're not at war with any of these guys, so we should hopefully be able to talk them into making trades with us. Particularly Sparta. They don't have a whole lot of value for their, what's the word I'm looking for? Bronze. So we should be able to trade with them. So we're going to go ahead and start up a negotiation.
My brother and I will work well.
We're going to offer them military access and a military alliance, and that's going to give us 22 points of favor for us. And then we're going to go ahead and open a barter agreement based off of that and see how much we can weasel out of them. Let's start with 100. Cool, they're fine with that. Let's go to 150. That's too much. How about 140? That's something. How about 145? Cool. Not going to push it any further. So they're going to start sending us 145 units of bronze for free, and all we have to do is make a two-way pact military access military alliance. That's all we got to do. And in this, we become an ally with Sparta. We get goods from Sparta. Yes. There's no downside here. It's Sparta. It's famous for being Greece's most impressive military state. So now we can start surplusing metal again, and at this point there's not really anything else to do this turn. We can spend some time observing. Let's take it. We could upgrade that, but I would much rather upgrade something that gives us more bronze. I think we want to go that route because boosting the rank makes the soldiers better. It's kind of like giving them a veteran status. No, actually, I would rather do this because this gives us way more value. So that's gonna be 1,700. I think we're better off just waiting until next turn. Okay, diplomacy. They want gold from us, which we could sacrifice at the moment. In exchange, they're going to give us a bunch of bronze. Here's the thing, though. This is a very lopsided offer. But we do kind of need bronze. I'm going to take it. Just because gold's not super important at the moment. This I don't want. That gets really annoying later on, especially when they start asking you to give them stuff and they don't offer you anything in return. But sometimes they'll just offer you stuff and not ask for anything in return, especially if you end up becoming terrifying. Okay, Aphrodite's not happy with us anymore, but we can deal with that later. Let's go ahead and take a look at Agamemnon. Cool, we got, it looks like the heavy slingers available now, so we'll get a pair of those.
Indeed so.
And one more set of cuttlers. And then after that, we're going to attack this city, which unfortunately has also raised its army quite a bit, so that's going to make it a lot harder. But I think our advancement is going to give us a huge edge there. Back to what I was saying earlier, we're going to go ahead and upgrade their shipping docks because that's going to give us a huge economic advantage. And next turn, we're going to go to war. That's almost done too. Let's go ahead and take a look at what else we can build. Anything that'll give us a huge advantage, or at least a noteworthy one. We could build an altar. We do an altar of Aphrodite. Altar of Ares, maybe. That probably wouldn't be a bad idea to do. I've never noticed these before. Okay. This is not a bad idea to go with. But if I do that, then I have to wait a whole, long time before we can get access to this. How much is it going to cost to... Because if I can get some more light javelineers, I will probably use those a lot more because of how far you can advance them. That's not something I really noticed before. We're going to pass the turn and not make any additional choices, but I am going to take wood from the Tiryns
now belong to me.
So we can take a look into doing that next turn. Alright. They're willing to give us 81 food, 287 today, 81 for good, and all we have to do is give them 68 every single turn. No, because I still need stone right now, and I'd rather not do that. These guys also want our stone, and I'm also going to decline it. A king's decree. Cool. To tame my lands. Fantastic. Sweet. Great. Okay, so next we need to figure out what our next royal decree is going to be, and I'm thinking... We're gonna do this because it keeps our people happy and we don't have to worry as much about being retaliated against. So, Agamemnon has a pretty impressive army at this point, so we're going to siege and hopefully destroy Tiryns. Now, it looks like right now we have a slight advantage. It says if we went auto, we would face a valiant defeat. But if we take a look at our opponents, it looks like they have almost exclusively light infantrymen, which means they should be fairly easy to destroy. The only thing that I'm concerned about is how long it will, or how hard it's going to be to, what's the word? break through the gates. So we're gonna actually go ahead and set up a siege, so we won't actually be physically attacking them this turn. We're just preparing for war. And then we can go ahead and focus more on our development. So, military. So if we grab these, we can go ahead and start training those guys. I've never actually had bowmen in my army before, so it might not be a bad idea to go this route. Or... no, we're not gonna do that. Not until later. So yeah, well we're gonna train bowmen because I feel like that'd be better than slingers. And then we can go ahead and upgrade Mycenaeus garrison, which will help a lot. And then we can go ahead and upgrade the craftsman shop. So sweet all the way around. We are doing good things. Okay. Once again, we're going to go ahead and pass the turn, and hopefully next turn we will go ahead and take over on that siege. Okay, these guys want to give us wood in exchange for a non-aggression pact. This is Argos. They are our neighbors, and there's not a whole lot of point in having a fight with them, so we'll take it. Alright. These guys just want gold for wood. I'm not doing that. Cool, we were just rewarded 700 units of wood. And we will worry about that later because it's time for a siege. We have got a pretty good chance of winning at this point. Yeah, let's do it. Okay, so the way this is going to work is we're essentially going to be attacking one of the gates, most likely with their battering rams and heavy units because they'll take the least amount of damage from the missiles. And then we'll send everyone in and just more or less slaughter them. And then at the very center of the town... okay, let's go ahead and start deployment. Like I was saying, at the center of the town, there's a place that we need to go to get a victory point, which is right here. It's a lot harder to get to than you would think because of all the spirals and stuff that you have to go up, but as soon as you have that, it's just a matter of time before the city is more or less yours. So, what we're going to do is we're going to take all of our light units and put them in a reserve over here. At least temporarily. And that's going to include our javelineers, so we'll move these guys over here. Then we're going to take all of our archers, set them kind of over here. And with that, we should be able to just advance everyone else straight in. Now, because these guys are armored, they move a lot slower, so with that in mind, we can go ahead and attack the gates, and they can take as much time as they need doing it. While they're doing that, I'm going to go ahead and try to get my reserve troops into a position where they can easily rush in as soon as the time comes. And then we will have our archers coming in, trying to pick off as many of these guys as possible prior to the invasion. So we're going to go ahead and have our heavier guys come in first. They will attack... who's on the wall? There's some slingers on the wall, so we'll have them come after the slingers. Basically just going to have them throwing rocks at each other. And then maybe we'll have them fire some of the clubbers on the inside. As you can see, even though we're getting rained on by our opponents, because of the shield formation, we're not going to take a whole lot of damage. I mean, 2 guys fell, but that's pretty much nothing. It's got cow patterns on those shields. Go, my soldiers, go! And then here comes the battering ram. Jeez, look at all the insane
Your warriors
detail.
are attacking the gates.
Good. The warriors are attacking the gates. It's covered in hides. Being pushed by these guys. So yeah, lots of bodies already. The gatehouse is only a 5% taking, but as soon as the battering ram's there, it's going to be a lot better. These guys are out here throwing some rocks. Getting some rocks thrown at them. But ultimately, I think we're maintaining an upper hand to a certain degree. So once this battering ram makes contact, it kind of looks like it's just running over my troops, but... yeah, once it makes contact, they should start busting through pretty quickly. Yeah, so you see it's just going up by like 10% now every few seconds. Alright, which means we need to get... well, actually, we have to, after we break the gates, we have to force these guys through, and then we can send our reserves in. So... looks like our swordsmen were taking damage. It doesn't look like we're facing a whole lot of opposition,
The enemy gates have been destroyed.
Fantastic. Everyone rush in. Go, 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 go. Go, 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 go. You guys. Just come over here for something. Once we have the full invasion force inside, it should be relatively easy to just take
You
over.
have captured the gates.
Good. Okay. We're also going to want to get our archers on the inside, because even though they're best at kind of doing damage from outside the wall, now it looks like we have some of our archers retreating. That makes sense though, because they kind of more or less take up the brunt of the force. So, the brunt of the issue. So now that we have our heavies inside, we're going to have them break off and fight different groups.
Wreak havoc! Trained and ready!
The foe has sighted your hidden units.
I don't have any hidden units. They were all kind of right there from the get-go. Alright. So now that our light men are finally coming in, we can have them more or less take up flanking duties. As soon as they get through the gates. Which probably won't take a super long time. Look at them rushing in! Alright, just kind of go forward, guys. Come on, let's go. We need to get you in
Your
here.
warriors are losing heart.
Some of them are. Alright, we're gonna have you come over and fight alongside these guys. I don't know where you lot are going, but you're gonna turn right back around and fight. Alright, light spearmen, you're gonna go after these guys. Okay, we have our first surrender and we have some fleeing units, which means we more or less have successfully infiltrated the city. We just gotta get these guys on the inside here. Oh my goodness, my entire heavy platoon is over here fighting one group of dudes. What the hell are you doing? Go fight this group of dudes. Actually, we're gonna have these cugglers fight off the spearmen. We're gonna have this group of spearmen come fight these guys. And then you are gonna come fight the cugglers. These cugglers are gonna fight the cugglers. And then you are gonna come in and, I don't know, fight somebody. Alright, so the Javelineers are going to go ahead and fight these guys. These Javelineers are going to come over here and rain arrows down on these guys. And then I think we need to send both of these light groups of infantry up to the victory point. As a matter of fact, ultimately, as soon as we get the rest of this military force to break, we can just do nothing but march everyone up there. And I don't think it's going to take much to do that, given the fact that it's not going to take a whole lot to finish these guys off. Yep, okay, so they're running.
Your warriors have been routed.
Yeah, some of them probably. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and send this group up here. Because we are really in a position where we can focus entirely on just taking the victory points and winning the game at this point. Okay, so they're sending defenders up, which means we really do need to move our entire force up the hill now. There we can more or less have a combination of hold the victory point win and a final showdown. Because we already have multiple groups of theirs in surrender mode. I count 4 right here.
The enemy is trying to capture the gates.
The enemy can have the gates at this point. I don't care about that. Let's see. Now, see, these guys are finishing those guys off. And I can have them come around and attack from here. Now these slingers rain some arrows down on them as well. So we'll let those guys handle a couple of minor battles over there. But for the most part, we're just going to focus on taking the victory point and finishing the fight there. If we can get them up there. Oh, it's going to be a rough one. They did get their troops up there first. We have more people coming than they do, but these guys are ranged units. Whoops. These guys are ranged units, which means they'll be able to start picking them off right away. Still. What are you guys doing? Don't chase them. Or maybe they're not. Maybe they're trying to come up this way. They are. Okay, cool. I don't know what these guys are doing, but they need to come up here. Alright. So these guys are surrendering.
By Ares, your warriors are rallying.
Hopefully. Alright, so these guys are finally showing up. We can have them start taking out the individual troops. Agamemnon's just standing there not doing anything like an idiot. Ideally, I think the best way to handle this is to try destroying each and every platoon one at a time. Look at all the dead bodies.
Withdraw!
I'm not really surprised that those guys did not hold out for very long.
Moving up.
But we'll finish off their assailants for them. Yep. So my guys are running, but now their guys are running, so it's all good.
Master's war!
Alright, now we're gonna go right in here and attack these guys.
Swords!
You will soon hold the enemy's victory point.
Yes, we will.
Sons of Achaia! No mercy!
Okay, these guys are absolutely getting rained on, so fire right back, guys. And then this little mini battle that's going on over here, not really going in our favor anymore. I think what we need to do is take the spearmen out and around. Then we can just flank them and finish them off. I don't know if it's going to allow them to go out and around though. Oh, looks like it is. Barely. Okay, now you attack. Cool. That should handle that, and if not, they'll just kind of die.
The enemy has lost a victory point.
Alright, we have the victory point, which means we should be able to wrap this up fairly quickly. We have our opponents more or less fleeing, so if we just maintain the victory point, it shouldn't be an issue. Yeah, we got 2 surrenders, we got 2 groups of people fleeing. So if we just hold in the center, we'll take the city in no time. Yeah, look at that. We got surrender, 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 surrender. In fact, the only people who haven't surrendered yet are these guys who are fighting off this small group over here and the slingers.
Victory is close enough to taste.
So we will just go ahead and send these guys up the mountain over here. Get these guys back in formation. And if we do face any additional resistance before we just straight up win, which we're going to do here in a second, it's not going to be enough to matter. Okay, so these guys need to fight off these generals, so we will have them do that, and then we're going to have these swordsmen come down and fight them. And then we'll have some javelineers, these guys. Oh, never mind, they're not up here.
Warriors are rallying.
Cool. We'll have them come over here as well. Finish them off. I'm gonna go ahead and have these guys fight the slingers, since they're not really good for anything else. And then you guys can fight the slingers as well. Dude, all my good ranged units are dead. Oh, we won. Cool. Alright. Well, yikes. Yeah, it was a pretty costly fight, but ultimately we'll benefit from it in the long run. See, look, we killed almost 1,000 of their guys. So yeah, we both deployed right around the same number, but yeah, we lost half of our army. Their entire army was obliterated. We got a bunch of food for it. And now we're going to loot and occupy. So this is now going to become part of my kingdom. Fantastic.
Commandments may be declared in provinces that you rule. Issue your instruction and rouse the populace so they may better serve you.
Alright, and we destroyed the Tiryns, whatever you want to call them.
King Agamemnon.
Alright, my army is going to have to spend some time recruiting, but in order to reduce the amount that it's going to cost to feed my standing army, I'm going to reduce its power, or reduce its numbers, by forcing some of the groups to come together. Because worst case scenario, we can always share more than them. So I create more than them. More of them. So yeah, that was a fairly costly battle, but we still ultimately came out on top, and I think it was very beneficial. Oh, that's right, I have to be back in my mainland in order to pull that off. So I mean, going forward, we can ditch these slingers and start using bowmen and some more of the renowned slingers. And we have the javelineers as well. So these guys aren't happy with us at the moment, but we should be able to fix it. That's actually another thing we got to focus on, is now that we have it, we need to fix the place, and we also need to, over time, develop it into a healthier nation. So now that they're good and done, first of all, we're going to go ahead and make a commandment to organize games so we can increase happiness in the province. And I think that's it for this turn. We don't have any additional active enemies, but we are going to have to take Cornith here fairly soon. Yeah, they want our gold, so that's going to be a no, sorry. These guys are willing to give us a bunch of food in exchange for a military alliance. Who are these guys? Well, they worship Hermes, whoever they are. Okay, that's fine. I don't like having to fight with the Southerners, so yeah, we'll agree with them. Because if I can just send my armies north, it makes this whole thing a lot simpler. But trying to battle on two fronts is just an absolute nightmare. Okay, so next we're going to go to war with the Athenians, who are over here in this general province. That's going to be an uphill battle, for a lack of better terms. It's going to be a rough one. So we're going to go ahead and start preparing, but I don't think we're going to be going to war with Athens until the next video, because we're almost at an hour at this point. So we'll go ahead and start working on development, and with that, we need to go ahead and hire our next general. We're going to go with Euryadmion, because he's kind of big on the whole conquer thing. So we'll recruit him.
I'll win or die trying.
Yeah, I'm certain you will. And then we'll go ahead and start him off with... okay, I guess not 3 spearmen. Some spearmen and a skirmisher. I'll get him started. And yeah, that'll pretty much be it. Okay, so Sparta, Troyzen, and Pylos. And we're going to be fighting Troy. So yeah, that's fine. The whole intention was to attack Troy in the long run anyway. These guys want to give us a bunch of bronze in exchange for gold, but we're holding on to our gold, so no thank you. 200 is hardly a lot, but... Sparta... Which ally has been attacked? What? Hold on. Oh, okay, sorry. Sparta is attacking Elis. That's fine. We'll go to war against Elis. Fantastic. Okay, so it looks like we have some pretty solid providential growth, but we do need to worry about our bronze situation. Let's see here. We can upgrade Tiryns, which will hopefully give us some options to upgrade other stuff as well in the long run. But having this as a secondary part of our kingdom is probably going to help.
Shepherd of the people.
I'm still worried about a potential revolt. But it says here that's going to be like 26 turns away, so I'm not super worried about it. So we're going to go ahead and send Agamemnon up north and get ready to fight Corinth.
Greatness
Which should be fairly easy to beat, but we will go ahead and declare war on Corinth. And then that's going to force us to fight the Athenians and the Ionians, who are admittedly very difficult to beat, but we can do it. I'm fairly confident. Alright, so we're at war with the Corinthians.
Lord of the Achaeans.
And we will go ahead and keep Eurydion on our side. With any luck, we should be able to continue equipping him with better troops, including bowmen.
Acknowledged.
I've honestly never had bowmen before. And then that'll pretty much be it for this particular turn. Oh, bowmen are cheap too. Let's see how they compare to... Oh, they're light infantry, so we don't actually have to use normal raggedy slingers anymore. We can use these guys as armored resistant slingers, and then we can use these guys as our primary archers. So that's going to be pretty sweet, I'll tell you that. Alright, so we've got this whole thing figured out. The only thing we need to worry about is we need to reduce our losses into a surplus. I don't really have an option for that right now, so all I'm going to do is just get a bunch of bronze and hope for the best. Is there anything other upgrades we can do over here? Not yet. So we will go ahead and end the turn. Sorry about that noise, that was my water bottle. The Corinthians want to fight now. Let's see. I don't think we would win that fight, so I'm going to go ahead and pull back for now. Again, pull back.
Immediate withdrawal.
And now we're forced to fight. This is gonna suck. So let's see here. We still have heavies, better than they do. These are all just spear and shows. Yeah, these shouldn't be that big of a deal, actually. I should have taken advantage of when I had them in position. But ultimately, I think I rushed into war with the Corinthians a little bit too quickly. We'll see how this goes. This is going to be the last battle of the video. After this, we're going to go ahead and save and wait for later. Okay, so this is outside of the city boundaries. I do have my advanced deployment option, so I'm probably going to just set these guys over here to harass them. Ultimately, I don't think these particular spearmen are going to be super useful, but we'll see how that pans out a little bit later. They do have allies coming from over there, so that's something we got to be mindful of. Hopefully we can intercept them and kill them before they're too serious of an issue. Now, we're going to want to start by minding where we put all of our heavies, because once again, we're kind of more or less just going to go focused on a flanking dealio. I think we're going to put most of them right about here, because that's where we can predict the allies are going to come through at. I'm going to put these cugglers over here in the forest, this spearman, and one group of javelineers over here alongside the swordsmen. This group of javelineers that are actually going to come over here and support the heavies. these heavies are going to come over here as well. Agamemnon's going to come over here in this deployment area. And then I will have additional support from the slingers. So essentially the plan is we're going to have the bulk of our army centered in one area, hopefully being able to take out these guys. We'll have some troops in reserve. In fact, let's actually go ahead and get them into a better spot. There and there, so we can go light and or heavy. So we'll go ahead and start the battle from here. Ooh, okay.
The enemy is receiving reinforcements.
So the bulk of their army is actually centered in one little area. That's a little bit concerning because these guys are advanced deployed and not in a particularly beneficial situation. So we're going to go ahead and move them hopefully behind. Actually, we're going to see if we can't move this entire troop behind over here. If we can, then our flanking options are going to be phenomenal. But let's see what these guys are doing. If they don't recognize us moving from behind, then we can gain an instrumental advantage. Okay, they're actually so distracted by that they're going to head into that direction. So what we will do is we'll send our army right in. Okay, so they broke off their split, and we should be able to take care of these guys with our flanking troops. I am still concerned about the fact that we're vastly outnumbered, but they're outclassed, so that gives us some kind of advantage. If we take out the skirmishers, I think we should be able to very easily take over the rest of this battle. But that's not going to be particularly easy to do. If I can assign each troop to a different group.
No mercy! Slings prepared.
That gave them a bit of a
Your
speed
hero
boost.
is under attack.
Yeah, that's going to happen. So we will go ahead and have our slingers go ahead and do as much damage as they can. Oh my goodness, this is going to be a nightmare. We'll go ahead and get these reserve guys in to do as much damage as they can as well. When you get right from behind, so. And then if we come over here, you can see that we already have to deal with these guys coming in, so. We'll have them fight off these light spearmen and have our javelineers pick them off as well. Hopefully we can get these guys in as reserve flankers and really tear them apart. For now, we're going to go ahead and try to blunt force as many, or sorry, just kind of brutalize as many as possible.
Are losing heart.
Ugh. Yeah, I can see why this isn't super great. Ooh, no, 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 no. It's going to take a miracle and an extremely good long game to pull this off. But we might be able to demoralize these guys a lot. Yeah, see, we already got some of them fleeing. So if we can outflank them, we'll have a solid chance at victory.
Your warriors have been routed.
Okay, so we got one group of warriors already running away.
Wipe them out! Masters of war!
But we did get 2 fleas already, so that's good. Even if it's not a complete retreat, it's something. We've really got to get rid of these skirmishers, though. And in order to do that, we need to make use of our reserve troops. Okay. Definitely pursue these guys, because we do not want to have to worry about them. Most importantly, they're going the direction we need them to anyway. If I can just get these guys to hold out long enough, I might be able to turn this around yet, but until we get rid of those skirmishers, it's just going to be an ongoing battle. In fact, I'm wondering if maybe it's not a bad idea to use my skirmishers to take them out. Okay, those guys surrendered, which makes sense. Alright, we're just gonna go ahead and let those guys run off. They'll probably come back later, but right now I'm way more concerned about these dudes. Almost surprisingly, although not quite, my flankers are doing a lot better than my main
The foe
army.
has sighted your hidden units.
What hidden units? None of them are hidden. Oh no, we've got fleers. We've got a lot of fleers. I'm pretty sure where most of my armory has been routed. Except of course my reserve troops, whose entire purpose was to be relief.
Take care.
And they might yet.
You are losing ground.
Yep. If we can finish these guys off, either kill them entirely or reduce them into the point of surrender, we can send our reserve troops into the rear and just... Yep, okay, we gotta surrender out of them, so let's get them over to the mountain. Then we can take out the skirmishers. Hopefully that'll cause enough of a distraction that they'll leave these guys alone enough to come back and pincer them in an assault. Otherwise, all we've successfully done is weaken the Corinthians as opposed to actually beating them. Now, weakening the Corinthians is still good, especially since now we have the ability to rise a much bigger and much more powerful army. But, oh, yeah. Oh, my army has been completely demoralized. We've surrendered. Shoot! Alright. Yeah. We did kill more people, but this was still ultimately a huge loss. So we've been pushed out. Not making that deal. Still not making that deal. Agamemnon's been wounded. Alright. And his entire army has been disbanded, unfortunately. Which means it's going to be up to Eurydion to raise the next army against Corinth. But on the plus side, we have done a significant amount of damage. So we're going to go ahead and garrison him up in Mycenae. And get him those bowmen that he never got. You know what? I'm going to go do 2 full turns of bowmen, because I want this guy to have plenty of skirmisher support. And then give him some more heavies. A set of javelineers. And then we need some flankers. So... yeah, these guys are still a good option. There we go. That pretty much maxes it out. So, we're gonna go ahead and save. And that's pretty much it. We're gonna have to resume this later, but ultimately, the goal is we're gonna take over Corinth and Symphilos, and that's gonna give us our 2 routes towards the north. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna gear up, we're gonna take out the Athenians, and then we'll march towards Troy. So those are hopefully our next couple of battles. So I hope you enjoyed this, and if not, I'm not going to stop doing the other types of games. This is just a nice little other thing to do. Have a great rest of the day, and thanks for watching.